My name is Kassa. I'll be presenting queer enough for the Netherlands, the role of stereotypes in queer asylum decision and its outcome. This is part of my PhD research, which focuses on queer asylum in Netherlands, and it's titled Being and Making Queer in the Margin of State and Society. For research methodology, I'm using qualitative research. I'm doing qualitative research. I'm doing interviews, court document. I'm analyzing court document and doing ethnography. And for my ethnography or part observation, I volunteer work in queer refugee organization, participate in queer refugee event, and visit asylum processing centers. So we know and understand that gender and sexuality is socially constructed. That means queer people do not choose to become queer, but that does not mean there is a universal or universally innate or pre-existing queerness, which the asylum process assumes. Um, so So the image of so the so as a result, what is on trial in queer asylum cases is not the subject is what is on trial on queer asylum cases the subjectivity or the self of the queer asylum case, which is not the case in other asylum claims. Um, so the current reality is expected to get worse, where there is a new extreme right-wing government in power and as a result, we see that effect on, as it says, and asylum process. But while saying that, we should also acknowledge that this is not something new. It has been happening for quite some time, and it's predated the current government. And one of these things we can see how queerness is imagined, which is diverse queer group are seen to be more or less the same, is in the asylum in the asylum processing centers, where we see, for example, transgender women and queer men are put in the same rooms, or transgender, I mean, trans, trans, transgender men and lesbian women are put in the same room, or transgender women and gay men are put in the same room. So to assess queer asylum claims, the IND or the state employs what it calls four themes. One of them is private life, which means relationships, family ties, and friendship. And the second one is contact and knowledge in the country of origin, which means knowledge of the queer community, legal situations, and social attitudes. Uh, And the second one is contact and knowledge of the knowledge in Netherlands, which is knowledge of the queer community, legal status, and social attitude or conditions. The fourth one is discrimination, repression, persecution. This means like if someone has been imprisoned or faces physical violence and so forth. So despite while acknowledging the cultural diversity between these groups, the asylum process or the state assume that there is an archetypical way of these teams are believed to manifest themselves if someone is really queer. So in these teams, what is the IND looking for is what it calls the acceptance process, the discovery or acceptance process. So in this discovery and acceptance process, queer life trajectory is considered is viewed in binary ways, which is before discovery and after discovery, or before acceptance and after acceptance. Um, and this process is viewed as a code of queer, that kind of like tell you exactly who's queer or not. And through this assumption of this acceptance process, the asylum procedure regulates regulates queer asylum seekers through the assertion of what real queers are supposed to do or not do and feel or not feel. And while giving testimony, of testimony of their acceptance process, queer asylum seekers are expected to give detailed and unrefuted information, which means that they cannot be vague or too general, and cannot say the same things over and over again. And also the timing of the acceptance process is also a double-edged sword, where queer asylum seekers could not accept themselves too fast or too slowly. If they do, it's seen as a sign of uh, unreliability of their statement. Also, the process is assumed to be unidirectional, which is if someone accepts themselves, they could not go back, whatever that means. So we see also in the court cases where someone uh, testified that they have accepted themselves in a certain age, but afterward they went into heterosexual relationship and marriage, and that's seen as a sign of unreliability of their acceptance process. So yeah, so the process focus on relationship. One of the second point, the process focus in relationship, and it has a kind of like a homonormative view of relationship. So anyone with who's anonymous, who engage in anonymous sex and then monogamy are regarded as impossible or too strange of a story to believe. And relationships are expected to be unpragmatic and everlasting. So we see in court cases where someone ended their relationship, their romantic relationship or sexual relationship, or romantic relationship more probably, for pragmatic reason are seen as unreliable story uh, because they left someone because they are no longer in the same geographical area or for another pragmatic reasons. So this view that there is a binary view of love, which is like loving and living are seen incompatible. If you love someone, you are supposed to be with them, and if you are supposed to not, or you are supposed to not leave them. And if you leave them, it means that you don't love them. And it also like overemphasized verbal expression of one's love and commitment. So if someone is unable to articulate well in words what their partner means to them, it is seen as a unreliable story as well. So if someone is prefer expressing their love and commitment through other ways than verbally, then it's not taken into considerations and assumes for individuals have of knowing each other. So if someone is are not supposed to take risk, or if they do consider a risk, it's considered inconsistent with someone who's in the closet. Uh, so it assumes that you know someone is square when you approach them. And if you approach them without knowing, it's considered inconsistent with someone who's in the closet. And also that you are someone who's square is someone who is in a romantic relationship are assumed to know the sexual and romantic history of their partners. And if they do not, it's seen that the story is not credible as well. And we see this in court cases. And also knowledge and another significant focus is knowledge of the queer community and conditions, which means knowledge of the queer community and condition in the country of origin and also in the receiving country. So so as a result, queer Assamese are expected to know the legal right and social attitude of the general population, and this information should not be too general or impersonal. As a result, overlooks contact that could not be needed for private reasons or disregard queer Assamese who may prioritize other issues, like for example, they may be religious or they may be football fans and they find those things more important in forming relationship and then connections and assume for individuals always seek a connection to the queer community. And also, it's underestimated the discrimination person face in the queer community, which could make them stay away from the queer community. And also may it's a disregard the fact may some queer people may prefer just investing on a single sexual or romantic relationship are as a result are not interested in meeting other queer people outside that relationship. And And also, it does not take into consideration the immense time and resource that are needed to explore the queer community and form relationship, which some may not have those times or resources. And also, there is an assumption that dating site could be is a platform to get information about oppression and persecutions. And another aspect that is completely disregarded or not taken into consideration is the issue of class. So queer is, as a result, queer is seen through these middle class white queer experiences. So the effect of class is completely disregarded, especially for working class people, working and lower class people who have to struggle, economically struggle. So socio-economic status is acknowledged only when it's being used against the queer asylum seeker. Um, So, for example, it's disregard how the other is a closed off world. So, for example, most of the queer events or queer spaces are in the city centers, which are very far from most of the asylum processing center, which are like usually in the periphery of the country, and or cities and so forth. And as a result, that most queer asylum seekers have to travel a lot and spend a lot of money in order to participate in this kind of event, which they do not have. Um, and also participating when they do participate, when queer asylum do manage to participate, it's participating considered relevant and irrelevant. So it's a kind of double bind. So if when queer asylum seekers participate, we see in court cases they are told that this is not concrete evidence that they are queer, which is true that someone going to gay bar doesn't make them queer. But it also when they do not go to these places, it is seen as uh, evidence of not being really queer as well. So it's yeah, it doesn't matter you go, it does matter if you don't go. So knowing also one or two people is not considered enough. So it's not quite sure how many people you have to know in order to be knowledgeable of the queer community. And also another factor that's disregarded in racialization. Racialization is seen as a list of things you can take off, not something that interacts and intersects with things around it. So, for example, it's not understood that someone queerness is interact and intersects with someone racialization, and as a result, produce something. So, for example, we see this in the debate of the safeness of a particular country, where no matter how safe that country is, it may not be safe for everyone. For example, someone may not feel safe in that country due to their ethnic or racial position in society. That even if that country is safe for queer people, it may not be safe for all queer people. and and also what this lack of understanding of racialization does is that, for example, the immigrant community, including asylum seekers, prefer to stay connected with their ethnic community due to racism and xenophobia. So they may not have the any contact as a result to the queer community in the country of receiving country. So as a result, that though we as that many of us assume that bureaucracies are this benign kind of institution, they do inflict and defer death on the queer asylum seekers, and we see that this happens through the condition that it says, and also if reported many face severe outcomes. And not only that, we also most of my participants also expressed the suicidal ideation, and also some have expressed that they have attempted suicide as well. And so there are many stories of this happening among my participants. So in conclusion, that the process, it should not be seen as a system that seeks the truth, but as a structure that produces the truth about the queer science seekers. So as Foucault pointed out, confession is not just extracting truths or forcing individual to reveal their true self, but it is to instill what is to be the truth. So through the enforcement of architectural fairness, the data silos system can be seen as a regulatory and policy technique or institutions. So as a final note that we all know the Kinsey scale, and so we should take the time to reflect how would each one of us would be rate would we be rated in the IND scale of who's square and who is not. And thank you for listening.